Close your eyes for a moment and imagine yourself in a quiet garden at twilight. The air is cool and gentle against your skin, carrying with it the soft fragrance of lavender swaying in the evening breeze. Somewhere in the distance, you can hear the faint trickle of water, a stream finding its patient way through smooth stones worn down by centuries of flow. The sky above you transitions from deep blue to indigo, and the first stars are beginning to appear, tiny points of light that seem to pulse with an ancient rhythm. Your body feels heavy in the most comfortable way, as though the earth itself is cradling you, inviting you to let go of the day's concerns. This is the space where nature meets rest, where the plants around you have been quietly offering their gifts for thousands of years, waiting for those who would listen. Tonight, we're going to explore those gifts, to understand how the herbs our ancestors turned to for peaceful sleep actually work within the intricate machinery of our minds and bodies. Before we can truly appreciate how herbal remedies support sleep, we need to understand what sleep actually is and what makes it restorative. Sleep isn't simply the absence of wakefulness, a void where our consciousness disappears for several hours. Instead, it's an incredibly active, carefully orchestrated process that your brain and body cycle through multiple times each night. Think of sleep as a symphony, with different movements that each serve their own essential purpose in the grand composition of rest. When you first begin to drift off, you enter what scientists call stage 1 of non-rapid eye movement sleep. This is the threshold stage, the doorway between waking and sleeping. Your brain waves, which during full wakefulness fire in rapid beta waves, begin to slow down into alpha waves. These are the same gentle waves you experience when you're deeply relaxed, but still aware, perhaps during meditation or while watching a sunset. Your muscles start to relax, your heartbeat slows, and your body temperature drops slightly. This stage typically lasts only a few minutes, making up about 5% of your total sleep time. You're not deeply asleep yet. A sudden noise or movement can easily pull you back to wakefulness. But something important is happening here. Your nervous system is beginning its transition, shifting from the sympathetic state of alertness and action to the parasympathetic state of rest and recovery. Then you descend into stage 2, which accounts for nearly half of your total sleep time throughout the night. Your brain waves continue to slow, now producing what are called theta waves, but these are punctuated by sudden bursts of rapid, rhythmic brain activity, known as sleep spindles. These spindles, lasting only a second or two each, are believed to play a crucial role in memory consolidation, helping your brain process and store the information you encountered during your waking hours. Stage 2 also features something called K-complexes, which are sudden, sharp waveforms that scientists think may help protect your sleep from disruptions, acting as a kind of neural filter that prevents external stimuli from waking you. Your eye movements have stopped entirely now, and your body temperature continues to drop. You're moving deeper into genuine sleep, into waters where consciousness becomes something altogether different from what you experience during the day. Stage 3 is where the magic of deep, restorative sleep truly unfolds. This is slow wave sleep, characterized by delta waves, which are the slowest and most powerful brain waves you'll experience. These waves roll through your brain at less than 3 cycles per second, massive and majestic compared to the rapid firing of your waking state. This stage makes up about 25% of your total sleep in adults, though children need significantly more of it, and the amount we require decreases as we age. Deep sleep is when your body performs its most important repair work. Growth hormone is released, stimulating tissue growth and muscle repair. Your immune system strengthens its defenses, producing cytokines that fight infection and inflammation. Blood pressure drops, giving your cardiovascular system a much-needed rest. The glymphatic system, a waste clearance pathway in the brain discovered only recently, becomes more active during deep sleep, flushing out toxins and metabolic waste products that accumulate during waking hours, including beta-amyloid proteins associated with Alzheimer's disease. If you're woken from deep sleep, you'll feel confused and disoriented, a state called sleep inertia that can last for half an hour or more. Then comes rapid eye movement sleep, the stage most associated with vivid dreaming. Despite its name suggesting something gentle, REM sleep is characterized by intense brain activity that looks remarkably similar to the waking state. Your brain waves speed up again, showing a mix of frequencies. Your eyes dart back and forth beneath your closed lids, hence the name. But here's the fascinating paradox. While your brain is highly active, your voluntary muscles become temporarily paralyzed. This atonia prevents you from acting out your dreams, a safety mechanism that keeps you still while your mind races through elaborate narratives and scenarios. REM sleep is crucial for emotional processing, for creative problem solving, and for consolidating certain types of memories, particularly procedural memories like how to ride a bicycle or play a musical instrument. Your first REM period of the night might last only 10 minutes, but as the night progresses and you cycle through these stages multiple times, your REM periods grow longer, with the final one potentially lasting up to an hour. A complete cycle through all these stages takes about 90 to 120 minutes, and a full night's sleep typically includes 4 to 6 complete cycles. The architecture changes as the night progresses. You spend more time in deep sleep during the first half of the night, while REM sleep dominates the latter half. This is why being woken in the middle of the night often means you miss out on crucial REM sleep, while going to bed too late robs you of deep, restorative, slow-wave sleep. All of this intricate orchestration is governed by neurotransmitters, the chemical messengers that neurons use to communicate with each other. During wakefulness, neurotransmitters like norepinephrine, serotonin, and histamine keep your brain alert and active. As sleep approaches, different systems take over. Adenosine, a byproduct of energy metabolism, accumulates in your brain throughout the day, creating what scientists call sleep pressure. The longer you're awake, the more adenosine builds up, and the sleepier you feel. When you finally sleep, adenosine levels decrease. But the star of the show when it comes to sleep regulation is a neurotransmitter called gamma-aminobutyric acid, or GABA. GABA is the brain's primary inhibitory neurotransmitter, meaning its job is to calm things down, to reduce neural activity, and create conditions conducive to sleep. When GABA binds to its receptors on neurons, it makes those neurons less likely to fire, dampening brain activity and promoting relaxation. Think of GABA as the brain's volume knob, turning down the noise and chatter that keeps you alert. This is why many pharmaceutical sleep aids, including benzodiazepines and newer medications, target GABA receptors. They enhance GABA's natural calming effect, pushing the brain toward sleep. But GABA doesn't work alone. Melatonin, often called the sleep hormone, also plays a crucial role. Produced by the pineal gland in response to darkness, melatonin helps regulate your circadian rhythm, your internal 24-hour clock. It doesn't necessarily make you sleep, but it signals to your body that nighttime has arrived and sleep is approaching. Melatonin production is suppressed by light, which is why exposure to bright screens before bed can interfere with sleep. The hormone works in concert with your circadian system, which is itself influenced by external cues like light and temperature, as well as internal processes like core body temperature fluctuations and the release of cortisol, your primary stress hormone. Understanding this architecture, this intricate dance of stages and neurotransmitters and hormones, helps us appreciate what we're really asking for when we seek better sleep. We're not just trying to turn off for 8 hours. We're trying to support a complex biological process that has evolved over millions of years, a process that requires the right chemical conditions, the right timing, and the absence of interference. This is where herbal remedies come in. Unlike pharmaceutical interventions that often work through brute force, pushing the brain into sleep by overwhelming certain receptor systems, many herbs work more gently, supporting the body's natural sleep mechanisms. They provide the building blocks for neurotransmitter production, modulate receptor activity without hijacking it, reduce the stress and anxiety that interfere with sleep onset, and help synchronize the various systems that need to work in harmony for truly restorative rest. The complexity of sleep regulation extends even further when we consider the cellular level. During wakefulness, neurons throughout your brain are constantly communicating, firing action potentials that use energy and generate metabolic waste products. Think of it like a busy city during rush hour, with traffic moving, factories operating, and waste accumulating in the streets. Sleep provides the opportunity for cleanup and maintenance. The glymphatic system, discovered only in recent years, becomes up to 60% more active during sleep, particularly during deep, slow-wave stages. This system uses channels along blood vessels to flush cerebrospinal fluid through brain tissue, carrying away accumulated proteins, including beta amyloid and tau, which are associated with Alzheimer's disease and other neurodegenerative conditions. Without adequate deep sleep, this waste clearance is impaired, potentially contributing to cognitive decline over time. The restorative functions of sleep extend to every organ system. During deep sleep, your pituitary gland releases growth hormone, essential not just for children's development, but for adults' tissue repair, muscle building, and metabolic regulation. Your immune system produces cytokines, proteins that fight infection and inflammation. Your cardiovascular system gets crucial rest, with blood pressure dropping and heart rate slowing, reducing the constant stress on your blood vessels and heart muscle. Your endocrine system rebalances, regulating hormones that control appetite, glucose metabolism, stress responses, and reproductive function. REM sleep, meanwhile, serves distinct but equally critical functions. This is when your brain consolidates memories, particularly emotional memories and procedural skills, transferring information from temporary storage in the hippocampus to more permanent storage in the cortex. During REM sleep, your brain also appears to process emotional experiences, integrating them and reducing their emotional intensity. This is why people often say they need to sleep on it when facing difficult decisions or processing challenging events. The brain's emotional regulation systems literally require REM sleep to function optimally. Research has shown that REM sleep deprivation increases emotional reactivity, makes it harder to read facial expressions accurately, and impairs the ability to regulate emotional responses to stressful situations. The precise timing and cycling of sleep stages also matters profoundly. If your sleep is fragmented, constantly interrupted, so you never complete full cycles, you miss out on the later, longer REM periods that provide crucial emotional and cognitive processing. If you're sleep deprived and then try to catch up, your brain prioritizes deep, slow-wave sleep, getting the urgent physical restoration it needs. But this can come at the expense of REM sleep, potentially impacting emotional regulation and memory consolidation. The architecture needs to unfold in its natural progression, with sufficient time and minimal disruption for sleep to perform all its essential functions. Individual variation in sleep needs and architecture adds another layer of complexity. While averages suggest adults need 7 to 9 hours of sleep, individual requirements vary based on genetics, age, health status, activity levels, and other factors. Some people genuinely function well on 6 hours, while others need 9 or 10 to feel their best. The proportion of time spent in each sleep stage also varies between individuals and across the lifespan. Newborns spend about half their sleep time in REM, compared to 20 to 25% in adults, reflecting the importance of REM sleep for brain development. Elderly individuals often spend less time in deep, slow-wave sleep, which may contribute to common complaints of unrefreshing sleep in older age. Environmental and behavioral factors powerfully influence this entire system. Light exposure, particularly blue light from screens, suppresses melatonin production, delaying the circadian signal that sleep is approaching. Temperature matters significantly. Your core body temperature needs to drop about 2 to 3 degrees Fahrenheit for sleep to initiate, which is why a cool bedroom and warm hands and feet, which facilitate heat loss from your core, support sleep onset. Sound, even at levels that don't fully wake you, can fragment sleep and reduce time spent in deeper stages. Stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline directly oppose the neurochemical conditions needed for sleep, which is why stress is such a powerful sleep disruptor. Understanding all of this reveals why simplistic approaches to sleep problems often fail. Taking a sedative might force your brain into an unconscious state, but it doesn't necessarily produce the natural sleep architecture your body needs. You might be asleep for 8 hours, but miss out on adequate deep sleep or REM sleep because the medication alters normal cycling. You might feel groggy in the morning because your brain never completed its natural awakening process, instead being jolted out of artificial sedation. Conversely, behavioral interventions like sleep hygiene help but may not be sufficient if underlying neurochemical imbalances or medical conditions are disrupting sleep architecture. This is why herbal approaches, when used appropriately, offer something valuable. They work with multiple aspects of sleep regulation simultaneously, rather than just forcing one outcome. An herb that supports GABA activity helps your brain naturally quiet itself rather than chemically suppressing it. An adaptogen that normalizes cortisol rhythms helps remove a major barrier to natural sleep onset rather than overriding it with sedation. A mineral that supports melatonin production works with your body's own timekeeping systems rather than flooding them with exogenous hormones. These interventions respect the intelligence of the sleep system, supporting it in doing what it's designed to do, rather than taking control away from it. When we understand what sleep is supposed to look like, what the brain and body are trying to accomplish during these precious hours of rest, we can better evaluate how different interventions support or hinder that process. We can move beyond the simple question of, does this make me sleep, to the more nuanced inquiry of, does this support the kind of sleep my body actually needs? We can appreciate why someone might choose an approach that produces smaller but more natural improvements over one that forces stronger but less physiological changes. And we can recognize that sleep health, like overall health, comes from supporting the body's innate regulatory mechanisms rather than constantly overriding them with external interventions. The answers, as we'll discover, reveal that many traditional herbal remedies have been supporting this process in remarkably sophisticated ways that modern science is only now beginning to fully understand and validate. These plants offer their compounds in complex mixtures that influence multiple neurotransmitter systems, support cellular metabolism, reduce inflammation, modulate stress responses, and generally create conditions more conducive to the natural unfolding of sleep's architecture. They don't force sleep so much as remove obstacles and provide support for the intricate biological choreography that your body already knows how to perform. In a world increasingly dominated by powerful pharmaceutical interventions that work through single, forceful mechanisms, this gentler, more integrative approach represents both a return to older wisdom and a potentially more sustainable path forward. For thousands of years, long before sleep studies and electroencephalograms, before we understood neurotransmitters or circadian rhythms, humans knew that certain plants helped them sleep. This knowledge wasn't written in peer-reviewed journals or validated by double-blind clinical trials. It was passed down through generations, accumulated through careful observation, trial and error, and a deep, embodied relationship with the natural world. A grandmother would gather valerian roots in autumn. A healer would brew chamomile flowers into tea. A traditional practitioner would prescribe specific combinations based on patterns they'd observed countless times. This was empirical knowledge of a different kind, no less real for lacking the technological apparatus we now associate with scientific validity. The historical record of herbal sleep remedies extends remarkably far back in time. Ancient Egyptian medical papyri, dating to 1600 BCE, mention using poppy and mandrake for sleep and pain. Greek physicians, including Hippocrates and Dioscorides, described valerian, chamomile, and other plants for insomnia and nervous disorders. Traditional Chinese medicine texts from 2,000 years ago detail formulas for different patterns of sleep disturbance, recognizing that insomnia stemming from heart fire requires different treatment than insomnia from blood deficiency or kidney yin deficiency. Ayurvedic texts from ancient India classified herbs according to their effects on different doshas and recommended specific plants like ashwagandha and jadamansi for various sleep and nervous system disorders. What's fascinating about these historical uses is how specific they often were. Traditional systems didn't just say, "This plant helps sleep." They described particular preparations, specific timing of harvest when the plant's energy was strongest, combination formulas tailored to individual constitutions, and even spiritual or ritual elements of preparation and administration. A medieval European herbalist might harvest valerian roots during a particular moon phase, believing this affected its potency. A traditional Chinese medicine practitioner would assess tongue and pulse to determine which herbal formula matched the patient's underlying pattern. An Ayurvedic Vaidya would consider not just symptoms, but the person's prakriti, their inborn constitution, and their current state of vikriti or imbalance. Modern scientific investigation approaches these plants very differently. Researchers extract and isolate individual compounds, test them in controlled laboratory settings, identify specific molecular targets like receptor subtypes, conduct dose-finding studies in animals, then move to human clinical trials with standardized preparations, placebo controls, and statistical analysis of outcomes. This reductionist approach has tremendous power for understanding mechanisms and establishing causation, but it also strips away much of the context that traditional use embedded. The synergistic effects of compounds used together, the importance of preparation methods, the role of practitioner-patient relationship, the influence of cultural meaning and ritual, all these factors that contributed to traditional outcomes largely disappear in the controlled clinical trial. The relationship between traditional use and modern validation is more complex and interesting than a simple story of ancient wisdom being proven right by contemporary research. In many cases, traditional applications didn't match our current understanding of how these plants work at a molecular level. People used herbs for constellations of symptoms that don't map neatly onto modern diagnostic categories. They employed preparation methods that seem arcane by today's standards. They combined plants in ways that made sense within their own frameworks of understanding bodies, health, and healing. Frameworks built on vitalism, energy concepts, and correspondences that don't translate into contemporary biochemistry. And yet, when researchers began investigating these plants with the tools of modern pharmacology and neuroscience, they often found genuine biochemical activity, real interactions with the very systems we now know govern sleep and wakefulness. Valerian root, used for centuries based on observed effects, turns out to contain compounds that demonstrably modulate GABA receptors and influence sleep architecture. Chamomile, recommended by countless traditional healers for nervous conditions, contains apigenin that binds to benzodiazepine receptor sites in ways that explain its calming effects. Ashwagandha, a cornerstone of Ayurvedic rejuvenation therapy, actually does reduce cortisol levels and modulate the stress response system in measurable, reproducible ways. This convergence represents something profound. It suggests that even without understanding mechanisms at a molecular level, careful observation and experience can identify genuine therapeutic effects. The traditional herbalist watching hundreds of patients over decades of practice, would notice patterns, would observe that certain plants helped certain types of people with certain presentations of sleep difficulty. They couldn't explain why in terms of neurotransmitter modulation or HPA axis regulation, but they could see that it worked, could refine their approaches based on what they observed, could accumulate a body of practical knowledge about effective application. At the same time, this convergence reveals the limitations of relying solely on traditional knowledge. Not all traditional uses hold up under scientific scrutiny. Some plants used historically for sleep show minimal or inconsistent effects in controlled studies, suggesting the benefits people experienced came primarily from placebo effects, from the ritual of treatment, from the natural tendency for symptoms to fluctuate over time, or from other aspects of the healing encounter besides the plant's pharmacological properties. Others show effects, but through mechanisms entirely different from those proposed by traditional systems, requiring us to reconceptualize how and why they work. Some traditional preparations, when analyzed chemically, turn out to contain barely detectable amounts of purported active compounds, raising questions about whether traditional dosing was optimal or whether unstudied compounds or synergistic interactions produced effects that single compound analysis misses. Some traditional uses involved plants that we now know are genuinely dangerous, containing toxic compounds that might produce short-term symptomatic relief at the cost of long-term harm. The reverence we might have for traditional wisdom needs to be tempered with critical thinking and willingness to update our understanding based on new evidence. The shift toward natural alternatives for sleep problems reflects broader changes in how we think about health and medicine, changes accelerated by several converging factors. Pharmaceutical sleep aids, while effective at inducing unconsciousness, come with significant concerns that have become increasingly apparent over decades of use. Benzodiazepines like temazepam and triazolam can be habit-forming, with users finding they can't sleep without them and experiencing severe rebound insomnia when attempting to discontinue. These medications alter sleep architecture, reducing time spent in deep, restorative slow-wave sleep and REM sleep, raising questions about whether medicated sleep provides the same restorative benefits as natural sleep. Newer medications like zolpidem and isoprolol were marketed as safer alternatives without addiction potential, but real-world experience revealed their own concerning effects. Complex sleep behaviors, including sleepwalking, sleep driving, and sleep eating, sometimes with no memory of these activities, occurred in enough users to warrant FDA warnings. Reports of next-day impairment affecting driving ability and occupational function accumulated. Cases of dependence and difficulty discontinuing emerged despite initial claims that these wouldn't be habit-forming. The promise of a safe, effective pharmaceutical sleep solution remained elusive. The natural health movement that gained momentum from the 1970s onward brought increased interest in alternatives that might support sleep without these drawbacks. Herbal remedies appealed because they were perceived as more natural, gentler, and less likely to cause dependence or serious side effects. This perception isn't entirely accurate. Natural doesn't automatically mean safe, and some herbs have significant side effects, can be toxic at high doses, or interact dangerously with medications. Kava, for instance, was widely used and recommended for anxiety and sleep until reports of severe liver toxicity led to its ban or restriction in many countries. St. John's wort, another popular herbal remedy, interacts with numerous medications by inducing liver enzymes that metabolize drugs, potentially reducing the effectiveness of everything from birth control to cancer treatments. But many herbs do appear to offer a middle path, providing support for sleep through multiple mechanisms rather than forcing the brain into a medicated state that may not resemble natural sleep. The growing research base, while still incomplete and sometimes contradictory, offers enough positive findings to suggest genuine effects for several plants. More importantly, perhaps, the side effect profiles and safety data for most commonly used herbal sleep aids are considerably more favorable than for pharmaceutical options, at least for short to moderate term use. The research base for herbal sleep aids has expanded dramatically in recent decades, though it remains uneven and fraught with methodological challenges. Some herbs like valerian have been studied extensively, with dozens of clinical trials and multiple meta-analyses attempting to synthesize findings. Others have minimal research, perhaps one or two small studies, or primarily animal data with limited human trials. The quality of studies varies wildly, from rigorous randomized controlled trials with objective sleep measures to poorly designed observational studies with obvious biases and no controls. Many studies use proprietary extracts with specific standardizations, making it difficult to know if findings apply to other preparations of the same plant. A study showing benefits from a valerian extract standardized to contain 0.8% valerianic acid may not tell us much about a crude valerian tincture or a different extract standardized to different compounds. This creates confusion when consumers try to translate research findings into product selection. As store shelves offer numerous valerian preparations with vastly different formulations and no clear guidance about which matches the researched version. Sample sizes in herbal research are often small, sometimes as few as 20 or 30 participants, limiting statistical power and raising questions about whether findings would replicate in larger populations. Study durations are typically brief, often just 2 to 4 weeks, which may not capture longer-term effects or identify delayed benefits that take time to manifest. Measures of sleep quality vary between studies, some using subjective questionnaires, others using sleep diaries, still others using objective measures like actigraphy or polysomnography, making it difficult to compare findings across studies or determine which outcome measures are most meaningful. Industry funding creates potential conflicts of interest that pervade herbal research. Companies that manufacture or sell herbal products often sponsor studies, and research consistently shows that industry-funded studies are more likely to report positive findings than independently funded research. This doesn't mean all industry-sponsored research is fraudulent or worthless, but it does mean we should approach positive findings with appropriate skepticism and look for independent replication before drawing strong conclusions. Publication bias further skews the research literature. Studies showing positive effects are more likely to be published than studies finding no significant differences between herb and placebo. This means the published literature overrepresents positive findings, and meta-analyses that combine published studies may paint an overly optimistic picture of effectiveness. Researchers have increasingly recognized this problem and attempt to locate unpublished negative studies, but many remain buried in file drawers, never seeing the light of day. Despite these methodological limitations, dismissing herbs entirely because the research isn't perfect ignores several important considerations. First, the genuine effects many people experience deserve respect and explanation, even if mechanisms aren't fully understood or rigorously proven. The gap between research evidence and lived experience doesn't automatically mean the experience is invalid. It might mean our research methods aren't adequately capturing important effects, or that individual variation is greater than we account for in standardized trials. Second, the biological plausibility of herbal mechanisms shouldn't be dismissed. Most herbal sleep remedies work by modulating neurotransmitter systems, particularly GABA, serotonin, and melatonin. These aren't mystical or implausible mechanisms. They're well-established pathways that pharmaceutical medications also target, just through different means. When we know that valerian contains compounds that interact with GABA receptors in laboratory studies, when we can measure those interactions and observe their effects on neural activity, the question isn't whether herbs can affect these systems, but how powerfully and reliably they do so in real-world use, and whether the effects translate into meaningful improvements in sleep quality and daytime functioning. Third, the complex mixtures of compounds in herbs might offer advantages that single-compound pharmaceuticals don't. A pharmaceutical sleep aid typically works through one primary mechanism, targeting one specific receptor or enzyme. This focused approach can produce powerful effects, but also tends to cause a narrow range of side effects related to that one mechanism being too strongly activated throughout the body. Herbs, by contrast, contain dozens or hundreds of different compounds that might work through multiple pathways, potentially producing more balanced effects with fewer extreme outcomes. Traditional herbalists often speak of plants being wiser than isolated compounds, of the various constituents working together in ways that enhance benefits and reduce harms. While this language might seem unscientific, it captures something potentially real about synergistic interactions and natural balance within whole plant preparations. When researchers isolate what they think is the main active compound from a plant, remove it from its matrix of accompanying substances, and test it in isolation, they sometimes find it works differently, less effectively, or with more side effects than the whole plant preparation. This suggests the inactive constituents weren't inactive at all, but rather important modulators of the primary compound's effects. What makes herbal approaches particularly interesting is that many traditional remedies seem to work with the body's regulatory systems rather than overriding them. Adaptogens like ashwagandha don't simply suppress stress responses. They appear to help normalize stress reactivity, reducing excessive activation while supporting appropriate responses to actual threats. Herbs that support GABA activity don't necessarily flood GABA receptors with overwhelming stimulation. They enhance the brain's own GABA signaling in more subtle ways. This regulatory rather than overriding approach might explain why herbal effects are generally milder than pharmaceutical effects. but also why they tend to produce fewer problematic side effects and less disruption of normal physiological functioning. The best current evidence, synthesizing across multiple studies while acknowledging limitations, suggests that certain herbal remedies can genuinely support sleep, particularly for people with mild to moderate sleep difficulties, stress-related insomnia, or anxiety that interferes with sleep onset. They appear most effective when combined with good sleep hygiene, appropriate timing, and realistic expectations. They work best for supporting the body's natural processes rather than overriding them, and they generally require consistent use over time rather than providing immediate knockout effects like pharmaceutical sleep medications. Understanding this context helps frame what follows. We're not abandoning science in favor of tradition, uncritically accepting ancient uses without questioning or testing them. Nor are we dismissing millennia of accumulated knowledge because it doesn't fit perfectly into modern research paradigms designed for single compound pharmaceuticals. We're attempting to evaluate traditional remedies using contemporary methods while acknowledging both the strengths and limitations of each approach. We're recognizing that sleep is complex enough that multiple interventions from different knowledge systems might offer genuine benefit through complementary mechanisms, and we're honoring the experience of countless people across history who found relief and rest through these plants, even as we seek to understand more precisely how and why they work, for whom they work best, in what situations they're most appropriate, and how they can be safely integrated with modern medical care when needed. This both-and approach, embracing both traditional wisdom and scientific rigor, both empirical observation and mechanistic understanding, both whole plant complexity and isolated compound precision, offers the richest and most practical path forward for anyone seeking better sleep through natural means. If you've spent any time researching natural sleep aids, you've almost certainly encountered valerian root. Valeriana officinalis, to use its scientific name, has been used for sleep and nervous disorders for over 2,000 years, with mentions in the writings of ancient Greek physicians and continuous use throughout European folk medicine traditions. Today, it's one of the most commonly used herbal sleep remedies in Europe and North America, available in countless formulations from teas to tinctures to standardized capsules. But despite this long history and widespread use, valerian presents a perfect example of the complexities and contradictions that characterize herbal sleep research. The plant itself is a perennial that grows in grasslands and meadows throughout Europe and Asia, now also found in North America after being introduced by European settlers. It can reach heights of 5 feet or more, producing clusters of small, sweetly scented white or pink flowers in summer months. Bees and other pollinators are attracted to these delicate blooms, and in traditional lore, the scent was said to be hypnotic even to animals, with cats reportedly becoming intoxicated by the smell. But it's the root system, harvested in autumn after the plant has stored energy for winter, that contains the compounds of interest for sleep. Fresh valerian root has an earthy smell, pleasant enough, but once dried, it develops a distinctive odor that many find unpleasant, often compared to dirty socks, aged cheese, or in less polite descriptions, unwashed feet. This smell comes from isovaleric acid, one of the many compounds in the root's complex chemical cocktail. And complex it is. Valerian root contains over 150 different chemical compounds, making it challenging to determine which ones contribute to its sleep-promoting effects and in what combinations. The main groups of compounds that researchers focus on are valerianic acid and its derivatives, valopotriates, and volatile oils containing compounds like bornyl acetate, camphene, and various sesquiterpenes. Early research suggested valopotriates were the active ingredients, but these compounds are quite unstable and break down during storage and processing, raising questions about whether they contribute meaningfully to the effects of typical valerian products. More recent attention has focused on valerianic acid, which appears more stable and shows clear biological activity in laboratory studies, examining its interactions with neural receptor systems. Valerianic acid and related compounds interact with the GABA system, though the exact mechanisms are still being clarified through ongoing research. Unlike benzodiazepines, which directly bind to and powerfully activate GABA-A receptors at what's called the benzodiazepine binding site, valerianic acid appears to work more subtly and through different molecular pathways. Some research suggests it inhibits the enzyme GABA transaminase, which breaks down GABA in the synaptic space between neurons. By slowing this breakdown, valerianic acid allows more GABA to remain active for longer periods, prolonging its calming effects without dramatically increasing total GABA levels. Other studies indicate it may increase GABA release from nerve terminals, boosting the amount of this inhibitory neurotransmitter available to calm neural activity. Still, other research suggests valerianic acid might interact with specific subtypes of GABA-A receptors in ways that promote sleep without the same addiction potential and cognitive impairment as pharmaceutical GABA enhancers. GABA-A receptors aren't a single uniform entity, but rather a family of closely related receptors with different subunit compositions. Different subtypes predominate in different brain regions and mediate different effects. The alpha-1 subtype, for instance, is associated with sedation, while alpha-2 and alpha-3 subtypes relate more to anxiety reduction and muscle relaxation. Benzodiazepines tend to activate all these subtypes relatively indiscriminately, which is why they cause both sedation and muscle relaxation, and why they impair memory and coordination. If valerianic acid preferentially targets certain subtypes, it might explain its milder but potentially more specific effects on sleep and anxiety. But valerian's effects likely extend well beyond GABA. Some research suggests it influences serotonin receptors, particularly the 5-HT5A receptor subtype, which may play a role in sleep regulation that researchers are still working to fully understand. Blocking or activating this receptor affects sleep in animal studies, though the details of how it integrates with other sleep-regulating systems remain under investigation. Other compounds in valerian have been shown to bind to adenosine receptors, the same receptors that caffeine blocks to promote wakefulness. By activating these receptors, valerian might enhance the natural buildup of sleep pressure that occurs throughout the day as adenosine accumulates. The volatile oils in valerian possess anti-anxiety properties in animal studies, potentially addressing the worry and rumination that often interfere with sleep onset in humans who may not even recognize their mental state as anxiety. but just find their mind won't settle at night. This multi-target approach, working through several different neurochemical pathways simultaneously, might explain why valerian's effects, while generally mild compared to pharmaceutical sleep aids, can feel more holistic and natural than the sledgehammer effect of medications that overwhelmingly activate a single pathway. It might also explain the considerable individual variation in response, as different people might have different underlying neurochemical profiles that valerian's mixture of compounds addresses more or less effectively. So, does it actually work? This is where things get frustratingly complicated. Hundreds of studies have investigated valerian's effects on sleep over the past several decades, with results that are inconsistent enough to fuel ongoing debate. A meta-analysis published in a respected journal that combined results from 16 randomized controlled trials found that valerian improved sleep quality compared to placebo, with people reporting falling asleep faster and experiencing more restful sleep. The effect size was modest but statistically significant, suggesting real benefits beyond placebo effects. But the researchers noted significant variability between studies, what statisticians call heterogeneity, and called for more rigorous research with better-controlled methodology. Another meta-analysis focused specifically on sleep latency, the time it takes to fall asleep, and found meaningful reductions with valerian use, averaging around 15 to 20 minutes faster sleep onset. But again, the quality of evidence was considered low to moderate due to methodological limitations in many included studies, small sample sizes, lack of proper blinding in some cases, and inconsistent outcome measures that made comparing across studies difficult. A systematic review that applied strict quality criteria found insufficient evidence to definitively support valerian's effectiveness, while a different review, using somewhat less restrictive criteria, concluded it probably helps but needs more research to establish optimal formulations and dosing. Part of this inconsistency stems from the huge variation in how valerian is prepared and administered across different studies. Some trials have used crude dried root powder, essentially just ground up valerian root, while others have used highly concentrated aqueous extracts standardized to contain specific percentages of valerianic acid. Still others have used alcohol-based tinctures or supercritical CO2 extracts, or various proprietary formulations with undisclosed preparation methods. Doses have ranged from as low as 200 milligrams to over 2,000 milligrams per dose, taken anywhere from 30 minutes to 3 hours before bed, for durations from a single dose to evaluate acute effects to daily dosing for 6 months to assess long-term benefits. Different extraction methods produce different chemical profiles because not all of valerian's compounds are equally soluble in water versus alcohol versus other solvents. An aqueous extract might be rich in certain water-soluble compounds while missing fat-soluble components that an alcohol extract would capture. This means valerian isn't really a single entity, but rather a family of different preparations that might have genuinely different effects. When a study finds benefit from a specific standardized extract, that doesn't necessarily mean other valerian products will produce the same results. Yet consumers and even healthcare providers often generalize findings across all valerian products as if they're equivalent. The timing issue is equally complex. Most clinical studies have lasted only a few weeks. typically 2 to 4 weeks of daily valerian use. But traditional use and some modern herbalists suggest valerian works best with more extended, consistent use, potentially taking weeks or even months to reach full effectiveness as it gradually modulates GABAergic system function. If this is true, short-duration studies might be missing valerian's most significant benefits, showing only the partial effects that appear in the first few weeks, while missing the deeper regulatory changes that develop over longer time periods. There's also the question of individual variation, which bedevils herbal research generally. Some people report pronounced benefits from valerian, describing easier sleep onset, fewer nighttime awakenings, deeper sleep, more vivid but pleasant dreams, and waking feeling more refreshed. They swear by it, using it consistently and experiencing clear deterioration in sleep quality if they stop. Others notice no difference at all, trying valerian for weeks with no perceptible effect on their sleep. Still others experience paradoxical effects, reporting that valerian makes them more agitated rather than calmer, or causes vivid nightmares, or produces severe morning grogginess that makes them feel worse despite sleeping longer. When valerian does work, users typically don't describe it as forcing sleep the way a sleeping pill does. Instead, they report feeling more relaxed in the evening, finding it easier to quiet racing thoughts and transitioning into sleep more smoothly. The effect often builds over several days or weeks of consistent use rather than appearing immediately after the first dose. This gradual onset makes sense given valerian's proposed mechanisms. If it's working by supporting natural GABA activity and addressing anxiety that interferes with sleep, these effects would reasonably take time to manifest and stabilize. Traditional use patterns offer some guidance that research hasn't always captured. Herbalists often combine valerian with other calming herbs rather than using it alone, believing the combinations work synergistically. They typically recommend taking it consistently for at least 2 weeks before evaluating effectiveness, recognizing that immediate effects may be subtle. They suggest lower doses for daytime anxiety relief and higher doses for sleep support, and they counsel patience, noting that valerian's gentle approach means it won't produce the instant knockout that desperate sleep seekers sometimes hope for. Safety considerations with valerian are generally reassuring for short to medium-term use. The most common side effects are mild, including headache, dizziness, stomach upset, or next-day drowsiness, though these are relatively infrequent. Very high doses or long-term use have been associated with more significant effects, including liver problems in rare cases, though causation isn't always clear in these reports. Valerian can interact with other sedating medications and supplements, potentially increasing their effects. It may also interact with medications processed by liver enzymes, though clinical significance isn't well established. Pregnant and breastfeeding women are generally advised to avoid valerian due to insufficient safety data. The challenge with valerian, as with many herbal remedies, is reconciling traditional use patterns with modern research demands. Traditional herbalism employed valerian in specific ways, often in combination, with attention to individual constitution and symptom patterns. Clinical trials, seeking to isolate variables and establish clear cause and effect, use standardized extracts in controlled doses for defined periods in relatively homogeneous populations. When results are inconsistent, it's not always clear whether the herb doesn't work. The research methods don't adequately capture how it works, or both factors contribute to the confusion. What we can say with reasonable confidence is that valerian root contains multiple compounds with plausible sleep-promoting mechanisms, particularly through GABAergic modulation. Clinical evidence suggests it can improve subjective sleep quality in some people, though effects are generally mild to moderate and may require consistent use to manifest. It appears relatively safe for short to medium-term use in most adults. Individual response varies considerably, meaning personal experimentation under appropriate guidance may be necessary to determine if it's helpful. And it works best as part of a comprehensive approach to sleep that includes good sleep hygiene, stress management, and addressing underlying factors contributing to sleep difficulties. For those considering trying valerian, the research suggests starting with a standardized extract containing at least 0.3% valeric acid, taking 400 to 900 milligrams about 1 hour before bed, and giving it at least 2 weeks of consistent use before evaluating effectiveness. Keep a sleep diary to track objective changes that might be subtle at first. Pay attention to any side effects and discontinue use if you experience increased anxiety, vivid nightmares, or morning sluggishness that persists. Consider whether combining it with complementary herbs might enhance effects, though be cautious about oversupplementation. And maintain realistic expectations. Valerian isn't likely to transform severe insomnia into perfect sleep, but it may smooth the edges of occasional sleep difficulties and support your body's natural journey into rest. Walk through any health food store, and you'll find chamomile and lavender everywhere, in teas, essential oils, bath products, sleep supplements. Their presence is so ubiquitous, their associations with calm and sleep so ingrained in popular culture, that it's easy to dismiss them as mere pleasantries, aromatic additions to bedtime routines whose effects are more about ritual and expectation than genuine biochemistry. But this would be a mistake. Both plants contain compounds with legitimate sleep-supporting properties, working through pathways that modern neuroscience has only recently begun to illuminate. Chamomile, specifically Matricaria recutita, or German chamomile, has been used medicinally for thousands of years, appearing in ancient Egyptian, Greek, and Roman texts. The dried flowers, with their daisy-like appearance and distinctive apple-like aroma, have traditionally been brewed into tea for digestive complaints, anxiety, and sleep difficulties. What makes chamomile particularly interesting from a scientific perspective is that researchers have identified a specific compound, apigenin, that appears responsible for many of its calming effects. Apigenin is a flavonoid, a type of plant compound with antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. But what makes it relevant for sleep is its ability to bind to specific receptor sites in the brain, the same benzodiazepine binding sites on GABA-A receptors that anti-anxiety medications target. When apigenin binds to these receptors, it enhances the inhibitory effects of GABA, promoting relaxation and reducing anxiety. The binding is nowhere near as strong as pharmaceutical benzodiazepines, which explains why chamomile produces mild calming effects rather than powerful sedation. But this gentler action also means it's less likely to cause dependence, tolerance, or significant side effects. The research on chamomile for sleep is modest but suggestive. Several small clinical trials have found that chamomile extract improves sleep quality, particularly in people whose sleep difficulties are related to anxiety or stress. One study of postpartum women found that those who drank chamomile tea daily for 2 weeks showed improvements in both sleep quality and depression symptoms compared to a control group. Another trial in elderly individuals found that chamomile supplementation improved sleep quality, as measured by the Pittsburgh Sleep Quality Index, a standard tool for assessing subjective sleep. These effects weren't dramatic, transforming terrible sleep into perfect rest, but they were meaningful improvements that participants noticed and valued. Interestingly, chamomile's benefits may extend beyond its direct effects on GABA receptors. The ritual of preparing and drinking chamomile tea in the evening creates a consistent sleep routine, which itself supports better sleep by providing regular cues to the brain and body that bedtime approaches. The warm liquid may help lower core body temperature after consumption, a change that naturally occurs as sleep approaches. The pleasant aroma and taste provide sensory comfort that reduces stress and promotes relaxation. And spending time in a calm, screen-free activity before bed addresses many of the behavioral factors that interfere with modern sleep. So chamomile works through multiple pathways, some biochemical and some behavioral, all contributing to an overall sleep-supportive effect. Lavender, lavandula angustifolia offers a complementary set of sleep-promoting properties. While chamomile is primarily consumed as tea, lavender's benefits have been most extensively studied through aromatherapy, the inhalation of volatile plant compounds. The characteristic floral scent of lavender comes from a complex mixture of terpenes and terpenoids, with the two most significant being linalool and linaloyl acetate. These compounds make up 60 to 70% of lavender essential oil's composition, and both have been shown in research to possess anxiolytic and sedative properties. Linalool's effects have been studied in multiple contexts. When inhaled, it appears to interact with neurotransmitter systems, including GABA, serotonin, and even acetylcholine. Research in both animals and humans suggests linalool can reduce anxiety, lower cortisol levels, and enhance sleep quality. One fascinating study found that even unconscious exposure to linalool, where participants weren't aware they were smelling it, produced measurable reductions in anxiety markers. This suggests the effects aren't merely psychological, but involve direct neurochemical changes triggered by olfactory pathways connecting the nose to brain regions involved in emotion and stress. Linaloyl acetate contributes complementary effects. It appears to influence the cholinergic system, the histaminergic system, and dopaminergic pathways, all of which play roles in regulating arousal and sleep-wake cycles. Together with linalool, it creates what researchers describe as a multifaceted mechanism for sleep improvement, working through several different biological systems simultaneously, rather than targeting just one pathway. The clinical research on lavender aromatherapy for sleep shows consistently positive results, particularly for certain populations. Studies in postpartum women, elderly individuals with dementia, and intensive care unit patients have all found that lavender aromatherapy improved sleep quality as measured by both subjective reports and objective sleep monitoring. One controlled trial using polysomnography the gold standard for measuring sleep, found that lavender aromatherapy increased slow-wave deep sleep, the most restorative sleep stage. Another study found it reduced sleep latency and increased sleep efficiency, meaning people fell asleep faster and spent more of their time in bed, actually sleeping rather than lying awake. What's particularly interesting about lavender is the dose response. Relationship researchers have identified low concentrations of lavender aromatherapy appear most beneficial for sleep, while higher concentrations can actually become stimulating rather than relaxing. This follows a pattern seen with many aromatic compounds where gentle exposure provides therapeutic benefits, but excessive exposure overwhelms receptors and produces opposite effects. It suggests that more isn't better with lavender, and the subtle approach, perhaps a few drops of essential oil on a pillow or a gentle diffuser in the bedroom, works better than saturating your sleeping space with strong fragrance. Lavender can also be taken internally as tea or in supplement form, though most research has focused on aromatherapy. When consumed, lavender's compounds are metabolized differently than when inhaled, potentially producing different effects. Some studies have found that oral lavender preparations improve sleep quality and reduce anxiety. Though the research base is smaller and effects appear less consistent than with aromatherapy, traditional use includes lavender tea, often combined with other calming herbs, consumed before bed. Both chamomile and lavender exemplify what might be called a holistic or systems-based approach to sleep support. Rather than powerfully activating a single pathway to force sleep, they gently modulate multiple systems that influence relaxation and rest. Chamomile's apigenin enhances GABA activity, while its overall consumption ritual supports healthy sleep behaviors. Lavender's linalool and linaloyl acetate influence several neurotransmitter systems, while its aromatherapy engages olfactory pathways that directly connect to emotional and stress-regulating brain regions. The effects from either herb alone are mild, but they're also multidimensional, addressing both the physiological and psychological aspects of sleep. This might explain why chamomile and lavender, despite producing relatively subtle effects in controlled trials, remain so popular and so frequently recommended. People don't necessarily experience them as powerful sleep inducers that knock them out. Instead, they report feeling calmer in the evening, transitioning into sleep more peacefully, and waking feeling more rested. The experience is one of support and facilitation rather than forced sedation. For many people dealing with stress-related sleep difficulties or anxiety that interferes with sleep onset, this gentler approach feels more sustainable and more aligned with what they're actually seeking: support for their body's natural sleep processes rather than chemical override of those processes. Safety considerations for both herbs are generally favorable. Chamomile is well tolerated by most people, with side effects being rare and mild when they occur. The main caution is for those with allergies to plants in the Asteraceae family, which includes ragweed, chrysanthemums, and marigolds, as they may also react to chamomile. There have been a very few reports of chamomile interacting with blood-thinning medications, though clinical significance isn't clear. Lavender aromatherapy is generally safe when used appropriately, though some people find strong lavender scent irritating rather than relaxing. Internal use of lavender oil carries more cautions, as concentrated essential oils can be toxic if consumed in large amounts. Lavender may also have mild hormonal effects, making extensive use potentially concerning for prepubescent boys, though the evidence here is limited and contested. The beauty of chamomile and lavender is that they lend themselves to pleasant, sustainable rituals that support sleep beyond their direct biochemical effects. Brewing a cup of chamomile tea becomes a mindful evening practice, a signal to yourself and your nervous system that the day is ending and rest is approaching. Using lavender aromatherapy, whether through a sachet under your pillow, a few drops of essential oil on bedding, or a gentle diffuser, creates a sensory environment associated with calm and sleep. These herbs offer not just compounds that influence neurotransmitter systems, but invitations to slow down, to engage your senses in soothing ways, to create space for rest in a world that constantly demands alertness and action. When we understand chamomile and lavender through this lens, appreciating both their biochemical properties and their broader role in sleep-supportive practices, we can use them more effectively. They're not wonder drugs that will fix chronic insomnia or override significant sleep disorders, but they're valuable allies in the ongoing practice of caring for your sleep, gentle supporters of your body's innate capacity for rest, and embodiments of an approach to sleep that honors biology while recognizing that sleep happens in a context of sensory experience, emotional state, and behavioral patterns. In a world of quick fixes and powerful pharmaceuticals, sometimes the gentle approach is exactly what we need. Walk through any health food store, and you'll find chamomile and lavender everywhere, in teas, essential oils, bath products, sleep supplements. Their presence is so ubiquitous, their associations with calm and sleep so ingrained in popular culture, that it's easy to dismiss them as mere pleasantries, aromatic additions to bedtime routines, whose effects are more about ritual and expectation than genuine biochemistry. But this would be a mistake. Both plants contain compounds with legitimate sleep-supporting properties, working through pathways that modern neuroscience has only recently begun to illuminate. Chamomile, specifically Matricaria recutita or German chamomile, has been used medicinally for thousands of years, appearing in ancient Egyptian, Greek, and Roman texts. The dried flowers, with their daisy-like appearance and distinctive apple-like aroma, have traditionally been brewed into tea for digestive complaints, anxiety, and sleep difficulties. What makes chamomile particularly interesting from a scientific perspective is that researchers have identified a specific compound, apigenin, that appears responsible for many of its calming effects. Apigenin is a flavonoid, a type of plant compound with antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. But what makes it relevant for sleep is its ability to bind to specific receptor sites in the brain, the same benzodiazepine binding sites on GABA-A receptors that anti-anxiety medications target. When apigenin binds to these receptors, it enhances the inhibitory effects of GABA, promoting relaxation and reducing anxiety. The binding is nowhere near as strong as pharmaceutical benzodiazepines, which explains why chamomile produces mild calming effects rather than powerful sedation. But this gentler action also means it's less likely to cause dependence, tolerance, or significant side effects. The research on chamomile for sleep is modest but suggestive. Several small clinical trials have found that chamomile extract improves sleep quality, particularly in people whose sleep difficulties are related to anxiety or stress. One study of postpartum women found that those who drank chamomile tea daily for 2 weeks showed improvements in both sleep quality and depression symptoms compared to a control group. Another trial in elderly individuals found that chamomile supplementation improved sleep quality as measured by the Pittsburgh Sleep Quality Index, a standard tool for assessing subjective sleep. These effects weren't dramatic, transforming terrible sleep into perfect rest, but they were meaningful improvements that participants noticed and valued. Interestingly, chamomile's benefits may extend beyond its direct effects on GABA receptors. The ritual of preparing and drinking chamomile tea in the evening creates a consistent sleep routine, which itself supports better sleep by providing regular cues to the brain and body that bedtime approaches. The warm liquid may help lower core body temperature after consumption, a change that naturally occurs as sleep approaches. The pleasant aroma and taste provide sensory comfort that reduces stress and promotes relaxation. And spending time in a calm, screen-free activity before bed addresses many of the behavioral factors that interfere with modern sleep. So chamomile works through multiple pathways, some biochemical and some behavioral, all contributing to an overall sleep-supportive effect. Lavender, Lavandula angustifolia, offers a complementary set of sleep-promoting properties. While chamomile is primarily consumed as tea, lavender's benefits have been most extensively studied through aromatherapy, the inhalation of volatile plant compounds. The characteristic floral scent of lavender comes from a complex mixture of terpenes and terpenoids, with the two most significant being linalool and linaloyl acetate. These compounds make up 60 to 70% of lavender essential oil's composition, and both have been shown in research to possess anxiolytic and sedative properties. Linalool's effects have been studied in multiple contexts. When inhaled, it appears to interact with neurotransmitter systems, including GABA, serotonin, and even acetylcholine. Research in both animals and humans suggests linalool can reduce anxiety, lower cortisol levels, and enhance sleep quality. One fascinating study found that even unconscious exposure to linalool, where participants weren't aware they were smelling it, produced measurable reductions in anxiety markers. This suggests the effects aren't merely psychological, but involve direct neurochemical changes triggered by olfactory pathways connecting the nose to brain regions involved in emotion and stress. Linaloyl acetate contributes complementary effects. It appears to influence the cholinergic system, the histaminergic system, and dopaminergic pathways, all of which play roles in regulating arousal and sleep-wake cycles. Together with linalool, it creates what researchers describe as a multifaceted mechanism for sleep improvement, working through several different biological systems simultaneously rather than targeting just one pathway. The clinical research on lavender aromatherapy for sleep shows consistently positive results, particularly for certain populations. Studies in postpartum women, elderly individuals with dementia, and intensive care unit patients have all found that lavender aromatherapy improved sleep quality as measured by both subjective reports and objective sleep monitoring. One controlled trial using polysomnography, the gold standard for measuring sleep, found that lavender aromatherapy increased slow-wave deep sleep, the most restorative sleep stage. Another study found it reduced sleep latency and increased sleep efficiency, meaning people fell asleep faster and spent more of their time in bed actually sleeping rather than lying awake. What's particularly interesting about lavender is the dose-response relationship researchers have identified. Low concentrations of lavender aromatherapy appear most beneficial for sleep, while higher concentrations can actually become stimulating rather than relaxing. This follows a pattern seen with many aromatic compounds where gentle exposure provides therapeutic benefits, but excessive exposure overwhelms receptors and produces opposite effects. It suggests that more isn't better with lavender, and the subtle approach, perhaps a few drops of essential oil on a pillow or a gentle diffuser in the bedroom, works better than saturating your sleeping space with strong fragrance. Lavender can also be taken internally as tea or in supplement form, though most research has focused on aromatherapy. When consumed, lavender's compounds are metabolized differently than when inhaled, potentially producing different effects. Some studies have found that oral lavender preparations improve sleep quality and reduce anxiety, though the research base is smaller and effects appear less consistent than with aromatherapy. Traditional use includes lavender tea, often combined with other calming herbs, consumed before bed. Both chamomile and lavender exemplify what might be called a holistic or systems-based approach to sleep support. Rather than powerfully activating a single pathway to force sleep, they gently modulate multiple systems that influence relaxation and rest. Chamomile's apigenin enhances GABA activity, while its overall consumption ritual supports healthy sleep behaviors. Lavender's linalool and linaloyl acetate influence several neurotransmitter systems, while its aromatherapy engages olfactory pathways that directly connect to emotional and stress-regulating brain regions. The effects from either herb alone are mild, but they're also multidimensional, addressing both the physiological and psychological aspects of sleep. This might explain why chamomile and lavender, despite producing relatively subtle effects in controlled trials, remain so popular and so frequently recommended. People don't necessarily experience them as powerful sleep inducers that knock them out. Instead, they report feeling calmer in the evening, transitioning into sleep more peacefully, and waking feeling more rested. The experience is one of support and facilitation rather than forced sedation. For many people dealing with stress-related sleep difficulties or anxiety that interferes with sleep onset, this gentler approach feels more sustainable and more aligned with what they're actually seeking. Support for their body's natural sleep processes rather than chemical override of those processes. Safety considerations for both herbs are generally favorable. Chamomile is well tolerated by most people, with side effects being rare and mild when they occur. The main caution is for those with allergies to plants in the Asteraceae family, which includes ragweed, chrysanthemums, and marigolds, as they may also react to chamomile. There have been a very few reports of chamomile interacting with blood-thinning medications, though clinical significance isn't clear. Lavender aromatherapy is generally safe when used appropriately, though some people find strong lavender scent irritating rather than relaxing. Internal use of lavender oil carries more cautions, as concentrated essential oils can be toxic if consumed in large amounts. Lavender may also have mild hormonal effects, making extensive use potentially concerning for prepubescent boys, though the evidence here is limited and contested. The beauty of chamomile and lavender is that they lend themselves to pleasant, sustainable rituals that support sleep beyond their direct biochemical effects. Brewing a cup of chamomile tea becomes a mindful evening practice, a signal to yourself and your nervous system that the day is ending and rest is approaching. Using lavender aromatherapy, whether through a sachet under your pillow, a few drops of essential oil on bedding, or a gentle diffuser, creates a sensory environment associated with calm and sleep. These herbs offer not just compounds that influence neurotransmitter systems, but invitations to slow down, to engage your senses in soothing ways, to create space for rest in a world that constantly demands alertness and action. When we understand chamomile and lavender through this lens, appreciating both their biochemical properties and their broader role in sleep-supportive practices, we can use them more effectively. They're not wonder drugs that will fix chronic insomnia or override significant sleep disorders, but they're valuable allies in the ongoing practice of caring for your sleep, gentle supporters of your body's innate capacity for rest, and embodiments of an approach to sleep that honors biology, while recognizing that sleep happens in a context of sensory experience, emotional state, and behavioral patterns. In a world of quick fixes and powerful pharmaceuticals, sometimes the gentle approach is exactly what we need. Anxiety and sleep exist in a circular relationship that can quickly become vicious. Worry and rumination interfere with sleep onset, keeping your mind active when your body needs rest. Poor sleep increases anxiety sensitivity and reduces your capacity to manage stress. Increased anxiety further disrupts sleep, and the cycle continues, each element reinforcing the other until both sleep and mental health deteriorate. Breaking this cycle often requires addressing both sides simultaneously, improving sleep to reduce anxiety and reducing anxiety to improve sleep. This is where passion flower and lemon balm become particularly relevant, as both herbs have been traditionally used and are increasingly studied for their anxiolytic, anxiety-reducing properties that support sleep indirectly by calming the nervous system. Passion flower, Passiflora incarnata, is a climbing vine native to southeastern North America, though it's now cultivated worldwide. The name comes from early Christian missionaries who saw in the flower's intricate structure symbols of the Passion of Christ, though indigenous peoples used the plant medicinally long before European contact. Traditional uses included treatment of nervous agitation, insomnia, and various pain conditions. The aerial parts of the plant, the leaves and flowers harvested during blooming, contain the compounds of interest, including flavonoids, alkaloids, and other phytochemicals that together produce the plant's calming effects. Like valerian, passion flower appears to work primarily through the GABAergic system, enhancing the activity of this calming neurotransmitter. But the mechanisms may be somewhat different. Research suggests passion flower compounds bind to GABA-A receptors, though with a profile distinct from benzodiazepines, potentially explaining why it produces anxiolytic effects without the sedation, addiction potential, and cognitive impairment associated with pharmaceutical GABA enhancers. Some studies indicate it may also modulate other neurotransmitter systems, including serotonin and dopamine, contributing to its mood-stabilizing and anxiety-reducing properties. The research specifically on passion flower for sleep is limited but intriguing. A double-blind, placebo-controlled study found that passion flower tea consumed before bed improved subjective sleep quality, with participants reporting feeling more refreshed upon waking. Polysomnographic studies, which objectively measure sleep stages, have shown mixed results, with some indicating improvements in sleep efficiency, while others found no significant changes in sleep architecture. What seems clearer is that passion flower reduces anxiety, and for people whose sleep difficulties are anxiety-related, this anxiety reduction translates into easier sleep onset and better sleep quality. One particularly interesting study compared passion flower extract to oxazepam, a pharmaceutical anti-anxiety medication in the benzodiazepine class, in people with generalized anxiety disorder. After 4 weeks, both treatments reduced anxiety scores similarly, suggesting passion flower was as effective as the medication for managing anxiety. Importantly, while the medication group experienced more rapid onset of effects, they also reported more impairment of job performance, a common side effect of benzodiazepines. The passion flower group maintained better daytime function while achieving similar anxiety relief. This suggests passion flower might reduce the mental hyperactivity that interferes with sleep, without the cognitive dulling that makes pharmaceutical approaches problematic for some people. Lemon balm, Melissa officinalis, offers complementary anxiety-reducing and sleep-supporting properties. This member of the mint family has been cultivated in the Mediterranean region for thousands of years, with traditional uses ranging from digestive complaints to nervous disorders. The leaves, which release a pleasant lemon-like aroma when crushed, contain several active compounds, including rosmarinic acid and flavonoids, that contribute to its calming effects. Lemon balm's mechanisms of action include GABAergic modulation, though it appears to work somewhat differently than either valerian or passion flower. Research suggests lemon balm compounds may inhibit the enzyme GABA transaminase, which breaks down GABA. By slowing this breakdown, lemon balm allows GABA to remain active longer in the synaptic space between neurons, prolonging its calming effects without directly activating GABA receptors. This mechanism might explain why lemon balm produces gentle, sustained relaxation rather than acute sedation. Clinical trials on lemon balm have focused more on its anxiety-reducing and cognitive-enhancing properties than specifically on sleep, but several studies have found sleep improvements as secondary benefits. One trial using a combination of lemon balm and valerian found significant improvements in sleep quality compared to placebo, though it's difficult to separate which effects came from which herb. A study of people with mild to moderate anxiety disorders found that lemon balm extract reduced both anxiety and insomnia symptoms, with 85% of participants experiencing full remission of insomnia. Another study in cardiac surgery patients found that lemon balm aromatherapy improved both anxiety levels and sleep quality, suggesting benefits through both oral consumption and aromatic exposure. What makes both passion flower and lemon balm particularly valuable is their apparent ability to reduce anxiety without significant sedation. This matters because one problem with pharmaceutical anxiolytics is that they often reduce anxiety by dampening overall neural activity, which helps with worry and rumination. but can also impair concentration, memory, and reaction time. It's why people taking benzodiazepines are warned not to drive or operate machinery. The ideal anti-anxiety intervention would selectively reduce the hyperactive worry circuits while preserving normal cognitive function. While no herb achieves this perfectly, passion flower and lemon balm appear to come closer than many pharmaceutical options, reducing subjective anxiety and supporting sleep while maintaining relatively normal daytime function. This dual action, calming without significant impairment, makes these herbs particularly appropriate for what sleep researchers call psychophysiological insomnia, where racing thoughts, worry about sleep itself, and conditioned arousal around bedtime perpetuate sleep difficulties. Pharmaceutical sleep aids can override this hyperarousal and force sleep, but they don't necessarily address the underlying anxiety patterns that created the problem. Passion flower and lemon balm, by genuinely reducing anxiety rather than just suppressing it with sedation, might help break the cycle more sustainably. Traditional herbalism often combines passion flower and lemon balm together, and sometimes with valerian, in formulations for sleep and anxiety. Modern research is beginning to explore these combinations, finding that they often work synergistically, meaning the combination produces greater effects than the sum of the individual herbs. One study of a combination product containing valerian, lemon balm, passion flower, and another herb found it effectively reduced anxiety and improved sleep in psychiatric patients with significantly fewer benzodiazepines needed compared to patients receiving standard care alone. This suggests these herbs might serve not just as alternatives to pharmaceutical anxiolytics and sleep aids, but as adjuncts that reduce medication needs. Preparation and dosage vary considerably for both herbs. Passion flower is commonly consumed as tea, typically using 1 to 2 grams of dried herb steeped in hot water, or in extract form at doses ranging from 200 to 500 milligrams. The extracts used in clinical trials are often standardized to contain specific amounts of flavonoids, particularly vitexin, though it's not entirely clear if vitexin content correlates reliably with effectiveness. Lemon balm is also taken as tea or extract, with doses of 300 to 600 milligrams of extract being common in studies showing benefits. Some practitioners recommend taking these herbs 2 to 3 times daily for anxiety management, with a larger dose before bed for sleep support. Safety profiles for both herbs are generally reassuring. Passion flower is well tolerated by most people, with side effects being uncommon and mild, most often digestive upset or dizziness. There's some concern about potential interactions with sedative medications, though clinical evidence is limited. Very high doses have produced more significant sedation in some people. Pregnant women are typically advised to avoid passion flower due to traditional contraindications and insufficient modern safety data. Lemon balm similarly shows minimal side effects in most people, with occasional reports of increased appetite or nausea. It may interact with thyroid medications, as some research suggests lemon balm can affect thyroid hormone levels, though clinical significance isn't well established. What emerges from examining passion flower and lemon balm is a picture of herbs that address a fundamental but often overlooked aspect of sleep difficulties: the inability to downregulate to shift from the sympathetic fight or flight nervous system state to the parasympathetic rest and digest state. Modern life keeps many of us in a state of chronic low-grade activation. Our minds churn with tomorrow's tasks, today's conflicts, next month's worries. This mental hyperactivity doesn't necessarily feel like severe anxiety. It might just seem like normal thinking, the background noise of consciousness, but it's incompatible with the neural quieting that sleep requires. Passion flower and lemon balm don't just chemically sedate this mental activity. They appear to reduce it, to genuinely calm the nervous system so the natural transition towards sleep can occur. They support the downshift your body wants to make in the evening, but struggles to achieve when anxiety and stress keep your foot on the accelerator. This is why people often describe their effects not as making them sleepy, but as making it easier to let go, to stop thinking, to settle into the evening. It's a subtle but profound shift, supporting the brain's natural sleep mechanisms rather than overriding them. For someone whose primary sleep difficulty is anxiety, racing thoughts, or stress that keeps them wired at bedtime, passion flower and lemon balm might offer more targeted support than herbs focused mainly on sleep induction. They address the upstream problem, the nervous system activation that prevents the sleep system from doing what it's designed to do. And because they work gently, without the sledgehammer effect of pharmaceutical anxiolytics, they can be used consistently, integrated into daily routines, combined with behavioral approaches to anxiety management, and adjusted based on individual response. They're not magic bullets, but they're valuable tools in the broader project of learning to downregulate, to transition gracefully from daytime activation to nighttime rest. Stress doesn't just keep you awake at bedtime. It disrupts the entire architecture of sleep, fragmenting it, reducing time spent in restorative stages, and leaving you feeling unrefreshed even after supposedly adequate hours in bed. The relationship between stress and sleep is mediated primarily through the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, or HPA axis, the body's central stress response system. When you encounter stressors, this system activates, ultimately releasing cortisol from the adrenal glands. Cortisol is often called the stress hormone, and while it's essential for normal function, including the healthy circadian rise in cortisol that helps you wake up each morning, chronic elevation interferes profoundly with sleep. Elevated cortisol, particularly in the evening when it should be declining to its daily low point, opposes the neurochemical conditions necessary for sleep. It increases alertness, raises heart rate, elevates blood glucose, and generally prepares the body for action rather than rest. People with chronic stress often show a flattened cortisol rhythm, where the normal peaks and valleys are dampened, or a delayed evening decline where cortisol remains elevated later into the night. This physiological pattern directly translates into difficulty falling asleep, lighter sleep, more awakenings, and early morning waking, with an inability to return to sleep. This is where adaptogens become relevant. The term adaptogen refers to a category of herbs that help the body adapt to stress, supposedly normalizing physiological functions and increasing resilience without causing harm. The concept originated in Soviet research on substances that could enhance performance and stamina in soldiers and athletes. While the term is somewhat loose and not always rigorously defined, It captures something real about certain plants that appear to modulate stress responses in ways that support overall regulation rather than just suppressing or stimulating specific functions. Ashwagandha, Withania somnifera, is perhaps the most thoroughly researched adaptogen, particularly for stress and sleep. Native to India, the Middle East, and parts of Africa, it's been used in Ayurvedic medicine for over 3,000 years. The name ashwagandha comes from Sanskrit, roughly translating to smell of a horse, referring both to the root's distinctive odor and to traditional beliefs about the herb conferring horse-like strength and vitality. In Ayurvedic classification, it's considered a rasayana, a rejuvenating tonic meant to promote longevity and vitality. Modern research has begun to validate many traditional uses, particularly for stress management and sleep support. The active compounds in ashwagandha are primarily a group of steroidal lactones called withanolides, along with alkaloids and other constituents. Withanolides have been shown to possess anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and stress protective properties. The precise mechanisms by which ashwagandha influences stress and sleep are still being elucidated, but evidence points to its effects on the HPA axis and cortisol regulation as central to its benefits. Multiple clinical trials have demonstrated that ashwagandha supplementation reduces cortisol levels. One well-designed study found that people taking ashwagandha extract showed significantly lower serum cortisol compared to placebo, with reductions becoming more pronounced over the 8-week trial period. Other studies have found similar results, typically showing reductions in morning cortisol, the 24-hour urinary cortisol excretion that reflects total daily production, or both. The magnitude of reduction varies between studies, but typically falls in the range of 10 to 30%, which is physiologically meaningful without being so dramatic as to suppress cortisol to unhealthy levels. This cortisol modulation appears to translate directly into improved stress resilience and better sleep. Numerous studies using validated stress assessment scales have found that ashwagandha reduces perceived stress, with participants reporting feeling less overwhelmed, anxious, and stressed after several weeks of supplementation. The effects are dose-dependent, with higher doses generally producing more pronounced benefits, though even relatively modest doses of 250 milligrams daily show measurable effects. For sleep specifically, the research is increasingly compelling. A randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled trial, the gold standard of clinical research, found that ashwagandha supplementation significantly improved multiple measures of sleep quality. Participants taking ashwagandha fell asleep faster, slept longer, had better sleep efficiency, meaning they spent more of their time in bed actually sleeping, and reported feeling more rested upon waking. Objective measurements using sleep tracking devices confirmed these subjective reports, showing improvements in deep sleep and REM sleep, the most restorative sleep stages. What's particularly interesting is that ashwagandha's sleep benefits appear most pronounced in people with insomnia or significant sleep disturbances, while effects are more modest in people who already sleep reasonably well. This suggests it's not a general sedative that improves everyone's sleep equally, but rather something that addresses specific dysfunctions in the stress-sleep system. When that system is already working well, ashwagandha has less to improve. When stress and cortisol dysregulation are Disrupting sleep, ashwagandha's regulatory effects become quite beneficial. The time frame for ashwagandha's effects also differs from immediate sleep aids. Most studies show increasing benefits over several weeks of consistent use, with maximal effects often not appearing until 4 to 8 weeks. This gradual onset makes sense given its proposed mechanisms. Ashwagandha isn't acutely sedating your brain the way a sleeping pill does. Instead, it's gradually normalizing your stress response system, bringing cortisol rhythms back into healthier patterns, reducing chronic activation of the HPA axis. These are systemic changes that take time to manifest, but once established, they provide a more stable foundation for good sleep than can be achieved through acute sedation. Beyond cortisol and the HPA axis, ashwagandha appears to influence other systems relevant to sleep. Research suggests it has GABAergic effects, though probably milder than dedicated GABA-enhancing herbs like valerian. It shows neuroprotective properties, potentially protecting brain cells from stress-induced damage. It has anti-inflammatory effects that might reduce inflammation's negative impact on sleep quality. And it appears to support overall homeostasis, the body's tendency toward balanced, regulated functioning, which includes proper sleep-wake cycling. The dose-response relationship with ashwagandha has been fairly well characterized in research. Studies typically use doses ranging from 250 to 600 milligrams of concentrated extract daily, often divided into 2 doses, morning and evening, or taken as a single evening dose for sleep support. Extracts are usually standardized to contain specific percentages of withanolides, commonly 2.5 to 5%. Though some practitioners argue that whole plant preparations may be superior to isolated compounds. Higher doses, up to 1,000 milligrams or more, have been used in some studies, generally showing greater effects but also more potential for side effects. Safety data on ashwagandha is reassuring for most adults at typical doses for durations up to several months. Side effects are generally mild when they occur, most commonly digestive upset, headache, or drowsiness. There are some concerns about potential liver effects at very high doses, though clinical significance isn't well established, and most people tolerate standard doses without issues. Ashwagandha may have mild thyroid-stimulating effects, which could be beneficial for people with hypothyroidism, but problematic for those with hyperthyroidism or on thyroid medications. It may also influence testosterone and other hormones, making medical supervision advisable for people with hormone-sensitive conditions. Pregnant women are typically advised to avoid ashwagandha, as it has traditional contraindications in pregnancy, and animal studies have suggested potential abortifacient effects at high doses, though human data is limited. People with autoimmune conditions should use caution, as ashwagandha stimulates immune function, which might theoretically exacerbate autoimmune activity, though again, human evidence is limited. As with any supplement, interactions with medications are possible, particularly sedatives, thyroid medications, immunosuppressants, and drugs for diabetes or blood pressure, given ashwagandha's effects on multiple physiological systems. What makes ashwagandha particularly valuable in the context of sleep is that it addresses one of the most common and difficult root causes of sleep problems in modern life: chronic stress and the physiological dysregulation it creates. You can implement perfect sleep hygiene, take immediate sleep-inducing supplements, and follow all the behavioral recommendations for good sleep. But if your HPA axis is stuck in overdrive and your evening cortisol won't decline properly, you'll continue struggling. Ashwagandha doesn't just mask this problem by forcing sleep despite inappropriate cortisol levels. It helps normalize the underlying system, supporting your body's natural stress regulation so that proper sleep becomes possible. This makes it particularly appropriate for people whose sleep problems are clearly stress-related, who find their minds racing at night with worries about work or family or finances, who wake feeling tense and unrested despite hours in bed, who notice their sleep worsening during particularly stressful periods. For these individuals, ashwagandha offers something pharmaceutical. Sleep aids often can't. Support for building a more resilient stress response system that naturally allows better sleep rather than chemically overriding a dysfunctional system to force unconsciousness. The adaptogenic perspective also suggests ashwagandha might be particularly useful during periods of transition or increased demand. Starting a new job, dealing with a health crisis, caring for a new baby, facing financial difficulties. These stressors often trigger sleep problems that persist even after the immediate situation resolves. Ashwagandha's stress buffering effects might help maintain better sleep during the crisis and support more rapid recovery of normal sleep patterns afterward. It's a long-game approach, building resilience over time rather than providing immediate relief. But for many people dealing with the chronic, grinding stress that characterizes modern life, this sustained support is exactly what's needed. While herbs provide complex mixtures of bioactive compounds, certain minerals play such fundamental roles in sleep regulation that deficiency or even suboptimal levels can significantly impair sleep quality. Magnesium and zinc stand out as particularly important, with accumulating evidence that many people consume insufficient amounts and that supplementation can meaningfully improve sleep. Understanding these minerals requires looking beyond the simple question of deficiency to appreciate their ubiquitous involvement in the cellular processes that govern everything from neurotransmitter function to sleep architecture. Magnesium is the fourth most abundant mineral in the human body, involved in over 600 enzymatic reactions. Yet studies consistently find that significant portions of the population fail to meet recommended dietary intake levels. Modern agricultural practices have reduced magnesium content in many foods. Food processing further depletes magnesium. Diets high in refined grains and processed foods provide less magnesium than whole food diets. And certain medications, including proton pump inhibitors, commonly used for acid reflux, can impair magnesium absorption. The result is that marginal magnesium deficiency, while not severe enough to cause acute medical problems, may be widespread and contribute to various health issues, including sleep disturbances. Magnesium's roles in sleep regulation are multiple and profound. At the most fundamental level, magnesium is essential for converting tryptophan, an amino acid obtained from diet, into serotonin, which then gets converted into melatonin. Without adequate magnesium, this conversion pathway falters, potentially reducing melatonin production and disrupting circadian rhythm regulation. Magnesium also directly activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest branch that needs to dominate for sleep to occur. It does this partly by regulating calcium channels. Calcium ions activate neurons, while magnesium opposes this activation, functioning as a natural calcium channel blocker. When magnesium levels are optimal, this balance supports appropriate neural quieting necessary for sleep. Perhaps most importantly for sleep, magnesium enhances GABAergic signaling. It binds to GABA-A receptors and increases their responsiveness to GABA, effectively amplifying the calming effects of this crucial inhibitory neurotransmitter. This mechanism explains why magnesium has been found to have anxiolytic properties in research, reducing anxiety and promoting relaxation. For people whose sleep difficulties involve anxiety or an inability to downshift mentally and physically at bedtime, magnesium's GABAergic effects can be particularly helpful. The clinical research on magnesium for sleep shows generally positive results, though with some variability based on population studied and magnesium form used. A systematic review examining multiple studies found that magnesium supplementation improved insomnia symptoms, particularly in elderly individuals who commonly have both lower magnesium intake and more sleep complaints. Studies using objective sleep measures have found that magnesium increases time spent in slow-wave deep sleep and reduces cortisol levels overnight, both changes associated with more restorative rest. One particularly well-designed study used magnesium L-threonate, a form that crosses the blood-brain barrier more effectively than some other magnesium forms, and found improvements in both deep sleep and REM sleep stages as measured by sleep tracking devices. Participants also reported better mood, energy, and mental alertness during the day, suggesting the sleep improvements translated into meaningful functional benefits. The fact that objective measures confirmed subjective reports strengthens confidence that the effects were genuine rather than merely placebo responses. Zinc, while required in much smaller amounts than magnesium, plays similarly critical roles in sleep regulation. This trace mineral is essential for the function of over 300 enzymes and is involved in immune function, protein synthesis, wound healing, DNA synthesis, and cell division. For sleep specifically, zinc appears important for regulating the glutamate-GABA balance. Glutamate is the brain's primary excitatory neurotransmitter, essential for learning and normal function, but disruptive to sleep when overactive. Zinc helps modulate glutamate receptors and supports the conversion of glutamate to GABA, thus reducing excitatory activity and enhancing inhibitory activity. Zinc also supports melatonin production and helps regulate the pineal gland where melatonin is synthesized. Studies have found correlations between zinc status and sleep quality, with zinc-deficient individuals showing shorter sleep duration and more sleep disturbances. Zinc levels in the brain fluctuate across the sleep-wake cycle, with higher concentrations during deep non-REM sleep, suggesting active involvement in sleep stage regulation. During deep sleep, zinc may help facilitate the release of growth hormone, linking its role in sleep to its broader effects on growth, repair, and recovery. Research specifically on zinc supplementation for sleep is less extensive than for magnesium, but shows promising results in several studies. Supplementation has improved sleep onset latency, meaning people fall asleep faster, and increased sleep efficiency in trials. A study focusing on women with premenstrual syndrome found that zinc supplementation improved sleep quality alongside reducing other PMS symptoms. Another study in ICU nurses, a population known for sleep difficulties due to shift work and stress, found zinc supplementation beneficial for sleep quality. These findings suggest zinc may be particularly helpful when sleep is disrupted by stress, hormonal fluctuations, or circadian rhythm disturbances. The combination of magnesium and zinc is particularly interesting because they work through complementary mechanisms and may enhance each other's effects. Some research has specifically examined combined supplementation, finding that taking both minerals together produces greater improvements in sleep quality than would be expected from either alone. One study found that 59% of participants taking a magnesium-zinc combination reported improved sleep, compared to only 14% in the placebo group. This synergy makes sense given their overlapping roles in neurotransmitter function, circadian regulation, and nervous system balance. Choosing the right forms and doses of these minerals matters significantly. Not all magnesium supplements are equally well absorbed or tolerated. Magnesium oxide, one of the cheapest and most common forms, has poor bioavailability, meaning much of it passes through the digestive system without being absorbed. It's also more likely to cause digestive upset and loose stools, as unabsorbed magnesium draws water into the intestines. Better absorbed forms include magnesium glycinate, which is bound to the amino acid glycine that itself has calming properties, magnesium citrate, magnesium malate, and the previously mentioned magnesium L-threonate for brain-specific benefits. For sleep support, typical magnesium doses range from 200 to 400 milligrams of elemental magnesium taken in the evening about an hour or two before bed. It's important to check supplement labels for elemental magnesium content, as the total weight of a magnesium compound includes both the magnesium and whatever it's bound to. Starting with a lower dose and increasing gradually helps minimize digestive side effects. Effects on sleep may be subtle at first and build over several weeks of consistent use as magnesium stores are replenished. Zinc supplementation for sleep typically uses doses of 15 to 30 milligrams of elemental zinc, though some studies have used higher amounts. Zinc is best absorbed when taken with food, but apart from high calcium foods or iron supplements, which can interfere with its absorption. Long-term high-dose zinc supplementation can interfere with copper absorption, potentially leading to copper deficiency. So keeping doses moderate and considering periodic breaks or alternating with copper supplementation is prudent for prolonged use. Safety considerations for both minerals are generally favorable at typical supplementation doses, but excessive intake can cause problems. Too much magnesium primarily affects the digestive system, causing diarrhea, nausea, and cramping, though extremely high doses could potentially affect heart rhythm and other systems. People with kidney disease need to be particularly cautious with magnesium supplementation, as impaired kidney function can lead to dangerous accumulation. Zinc at very high doses can cause nausea, vomiting, and immune system suppression. It can also interfere with copper absorption as mentioned, and interact with certain antibiotics and other medications. What's particularly valuable about addressing magnesium and zinc status for sleep is that these are fundamental nutritional factors that influence a vast range of physiological processes beyond sleep. Optimizing magnesium and zinc intake supports immune function, cardiovascular health, mood regulation, cognitive function, and many other aspects of well-being. So even if the sleep benefits alone don't seem dramatic, you're supporting overall health in ways that create a better foundation for everything else you do to improve sleep. The challenge with minerals is that it's difficult to know if you're deficient or suboptimal without testing, and standard blood tests don't always accurately reflect tissue mineral status. Magnesium, in particular, is tightly regulated in serum, so normal blood levels can coexist with depleted cellular stores. This means trying supplementation might be worthwhile even with normal blood work, particularly if dietary intake is questionable. Keeping a sleep diary before and during supplementation can help determine if you're experiencing genuine benefits. For many people, addressing mineral nutrition represents a foundational intervention that makes other sleep support strategies more effective. Herbs and behavioral interventions work through and depend upon properly functioning neurotransmitter systems, receptor function, and cellular metabolism, all of which require adequate minerals. It's difficult for valerian to enhance GABA signaling if GABA production is impaired by magnesium deficiency. Melatonin supplements can't work optimally if zinc-dependent processes in the pineal gland are compromised. Building the mineral foundation supports the entire edifice of sleep health. This perspective suggests that for someone struggling with sleep, particularly if diet has been less than optimal, addressing magnesium and zinc status might be a wise first step before or alongside other interventions. It's less immediately dramatic than taking a strong sleep aid, but it addresses underlying factors that influence not just sleep, but overall physiological regulation. And unlike many interventions that can be used only temporarily, optimizing mineral nutrition is something that can and should be maintained long-term, making it a sustainable component of overall sleep and health strategy. Throughout this exploration of herbal sleep remedies and essential minerals, we've examined each individually, looking at specific mechanisms, research findings, and practical considerations. But in real-world application, whether in traditional herbalism or modern integrative medicine, these substances are often combined rather than used in isolation. This raises important questions about synergy, about how different herbs and minerals might work together, and about developing personalized approaches that address individual needs and circumstances. Synergy in herbal medicine refers to the idea that combinations of plants produce effects greater than would be expected from simply adding up their individual effects. This can happen through several mechanisms. Different herbs might work on different parts of the same biological pathway, creating more complete coverage. They might address different aspects of a multifactorial problem like insomnia, with one reducing anxiety, another supporting GABAergic activity, and a third normalizing cortisol rhythms. Active compounds in one herb might enhance the absorption or activity of compounds in another, and combinations might produce broader effects that address not just the target symptom, but related issues that contribute to the overall problem. Traditional herbal systems have long recognized these synergistic possibilities. Ayurvedic formulations typically combine multiple herbs based on complex theories about energetics and constitution. Traditional Chinese medicine uses herbal formulas with primary herbs addressing the main pattern and supporting herbs modifying or enhancing their effects. European folk herbalism developed classic combinations like valerian with hops or passion flower with lemon balm based on accumulated experience of what worked well together. Modern research is beginning to investigate some of these traditional combinations. Studies of valerian hops combinations have found they improve sleep quality more consistently than valerian alone, possibly because hops adds its own GABAergic and sedative effects while potentially reducing valerian's sometimes unpleasant smell and taste. Research on combinations of valerian, lemon balm, and passion flower has found anxiety and sleep improvements that seem to exceed what might be expected from any single herb, suggesting genuine synergistic interactions. Formulations combining adaptogenic herbs like ashwagandha with calming nervines like chamomile might address both HPA axis dysregulation and acute bedtime anxiety, providing more comprehensive support than either approach alone. The mineral-herb interactions are less well studied, but conceptually important. Magnesium's role in supporting GABA receptor function might enhance the effects of GABAergic herbs like valerian or passion flower. Zinc's involvement in serotonin and melatonin production could amplify benefits from herbs that work through these pathways. Combining minerals with herbs might address both immediate neurotransmitter modulation and the underlying nutritional foundation needed for those systems to function optimally. Creating effective combinations requires balancing several considerations. More isn't always better. Taking every herb and supplement that might help sleep can lead to excessive sedation, unpredictable interactions, digestive upset from too many capsules, and an inability to determine what's actually helping. The goal should be the minimum effective combination that addresses your specific sleep issues, not a shotgun approach of every possible intervention. Individual variation matters enormously. Some people respond beautifully to valerian, but find passion flower does nothing. Others get vivid, disturbing dreams from valerian, but benefit from chamomile and lavender. Ashwagandha might be perfect for someone with clear stress-related sleep issues, but less helpful for someone whose insomnia relates more to circadian rhythm disturbances. Magnesium might dramatically improve sleep for someone who's been deficient, but produce mainly digestive issues in someone with adequate stores. Discovering what works for you requires patient experimentation, careful observation, and willingness to adjust based on results. Timing of use also matters. Some interventions work best with acute, as-needed use, like taking valerian before bed on nights when you're having particular trouble sleeping. Others, like ashwagandha or magnesium, seem to work better with consistent daily use over weeks, building effects gradually. Some might be appropriate for short-term use during particularly stressful periods, while others could be part of ongoing health maintenance. Understanding these temporal patterns helps create more effective protocols. Integration with behavioral sleep strategies is crucial. No herb or mineral will fix sleep problems created by terrible sleep hygiene. Excessive evening screen exposure, irregular sleep schedules, late-night eating, bedroom environment issues, or other behavioral factors. The most effective approach combines botanical and nutritional support with behavioral changes that create better conditions for sleep. This might mean using herbs to ease the transition while implementing sleep hygiene improvements, or using adaptogens to better manage stress while learning relaxation techniques and improving daytime stress management. Safety considerations become more complex with combinations. Each additional substance increases the possibility of side effects and interactions, both with other supplements and with medications. Some combinations might have synergistic side effects as well as benefits. The sedative effects of multiple GABAergic herbs could add up to excessive daytime drowsiness. Combining adaptogenic herbs might overstimulate some people. Taking too many minerals together can lead to competitive absorption issues. Working with a knowledgeable practitioner, whether a clinical herbalist, integrative physician, or naturopathic doctor, becomes increasingly important as protocols grow more complex. Quality and sourcing of products matters immensely, but is often overlooked. The supplement industry is loosely regulated, and products can vary wildly in their actual content of active compounds. Studies have found that some herbal products contain little or none of the advertised herb, are contaminated with heavy metals or other substances, or contain compounds not listed on the label. Third-party testing certifications, choosing reputable manufacturers, and sometimes paying more for higher quality products can make the difference between getting genuine benefits and wasting money on ineffective or potentially harmful products. Realistic expectations are essential for satisfaction and persistence with botanical approaches to sleep. These interventions typically don't produce the dramatic, immediate effects of pharmaceutical sleep medications. Most people won't find that taking valerian or magnesium suddenly transforms terrible sleep into perfect rest. Instead, effects are usually modest, gradual, and cumulative. You might fall asleep 15 minutes faster, wake up one less time during the night, feel slightly more refreshed in the morning. These improvements might take weeks to become noticeable. They might be most apparent when you stop taking something and realize sleep is worsening again. But for many people dealing with chronic, moderate sleep issues, these modest improvements genuinely enhance quality of life and are sustainable in ways that pharmaceutical approaches often aren't. Cycling and periodic reassessment help optimize long-term use. Taking breaks from certain interventions, trying different combinations, increasing or decreasing doses based on current needs. These adjustments prevent tolerance, reduce costs, and keep you attuned to what's actually helping. Sleep needs change with seasons, stress levels, health status, and age. And if an approach that works beautifully for months might stop being as effective or become unnecessary as circumstances change. Regular check-ins with yourself about what you're taking and why helps maintain an adaptive, responsive approach rather than mindlessly continuing protocols that may no longer serve you. Documentation supports this process, keeping a sleep diary that tracks not just sleep itself, but also what interventions you're using, at what doses and what effects you're noticing helps identify patterns and connections that aren't obvious in the moment. This needn't be elaborate, just notes about bedtime, wake time, number of awakenings, sleep quality rating, supplements taken, and any relevant daytime factors like unusual stress or exercise. Over time, This record reveals what works for you specifically, which is more valuable than generic recommendations that may not apply to your individual situation. The ultimate goal is developing a sustainable, personalized approach to sleep support that addresses your specific needs, fits realistically into your life, and can be maintained long term. For some people, this might be as simple as taking magnesium glycinate each evening and drinking chamomile tea before bed. For others, it might involve rotating between different herbal combinations based on current stress levels and sleep quality, taking ashwagandha during particularly demanding periods, and using valerian passionflower combinations when anxiety is interfering with sleep. There's no single right answer, but there are approaches that are right for you at this point in your life, and those approaches can and should evolve as you do. One final consideration that often gets overlooked is the value of the ritual itself, separate from the pharmacological effects of what you're taking. Creating a consistent evening routine that includes preparing herbal tea, taking supplements with intention, perhaps combining with gentle stretching or meditation or journaling, signals to your nervous system that sleep is approaching. This behavioral conditioning supports sleep independently of any biochemical effects. The herbs and minerals might work partly through their direct effects on neurotransmitter systems and partly through their role in establishing restful evening practices that your brain learns to associate with sleep. This integrative perspective, recognizing that sleep happens at the intersection of biochemistry, behavior, psychology, and environment, allows for more sophisticated and effective interventions. You're not just taking substances to alter brain chemistry. You're supporting multiple levels of the sleep system simultaneously, addressing underlying nutritional deficiencies, modulating stress responses, reducing acute anxiety, establishing helpful routines, and creating conditions that allow your body's innate sleep mechanisms to function as they're designed to. When all these pieces align, the results can be genuinely transformative. Not because any single herb is a magic bullet, but because you've created a comprehensive approach that supports every aspect of the sleep process. As we've journeyed through the science behind herbal remedies for sleep, from the intricate architecture of sleep stages to the specific mechanisms of individual plants and minerals, what becomes clear is that nature has provided remarkably sophisticated tools for supporting one of our most fundamental biological needs. These aren't miracle cures or instant solutions, but patient allies that work with your body's wisdom rather than against it. The chamomile flower has been supporting human rest for millennia. The valerian root continues its ancient work of calming overactive minds. Lavender still offers its aromatic embrace, and your body still knows how to sleep, given the right support and conditions. Sleep is both universal and deeply personal. The general principles we've explored apply to everyone: the importance of GABA and melatonin, the restorative necessity of deep sleep, the way stress disrupts the delicate balance that allows rest. But your specific path to better sleep will be unique, shaped by your individual biochemistry, your life circumstances, your health history, and your willingness to experiment and observe. The herbs and minerals we've discussed offer starting points, possibilities to explore, combinations to try. What works beautifully for one person may do little for another, and discovering your own optimal approach requires patience, curiosity, and compassionate attention to your own experience. If this exploration has sparked your interest, I encourage you to approach these natural sleep supports thoughtfully and systematically. Start with the basics. Ensure you're getting adequate magnesium and zinc, either through diet or supplementation. Address the low-hanging fruit of sleep hygiene, creating a dark, cool, quiet, sleeping environment, and establishing consistent sleep-wake times. If stress and anxiety are primary issues, consider adaptogens like ashwagandha or calming nervines like passion flower and lemon balm. If sleep onset is your main difficulty, valerian, chamomile, or lavender might offer support. And remember that the ritual matters as much as the remedy, that the act of caring for your sleep, of creating evening practices that honor rest, supports the neurological shift toward sleep independently of any herb's biochemical effects. If you found value in this exploration of how herbal remedies support sleep, if you've learned something that might help you or someone you care about rest more peacefully, consider supporting this channel. Hit that like button to help others discover this information. Subscribe to the Sleeping Subconscious for more deep dives into the fascinating science of sleep, rest, and the nighttime mind. Share this video with anyone who struggles with sleep and might benefit from understanding these natural approaches. Your engagement helps this information reach the people who need it most, transforming what can feel like an isolating struggle into a shared journey toward better rest. Sleep well, dear listeners. May your nights be gentle, your rest be deep, and your mornings greet you refreshed. Until next time, this is the Sleeping Subconscious, reminding you that your body knows how to sleep. It's simply waiting for the conditions that allow its ancient wisdom to unfold.